Hello everybody and welcome to our online workshop, Power Drops. I am very excited to start to give you all these information we prepared for you, the PDFs, the videos, some bonuses we will have, some of my colleagues that will also contribute to your questions, and just from your responses so far and questions I collected, I see that this is much needed. So I'm very happy and excited to get started. One of the reasons I call this workshop Power Drops is to give the power to you, to teach you how to get the maximum power and efficiency from the essential oils. What are the things you should be looking for in the oils you already have and might be using for many years? Maybe you'll get a new perspective. I really hope so, to open up some new possibilities for you, to make your work easier, faster, more efficient, to give you more confidence into blending, to show you what you might be doing wrong. Hopefully not, but definitely could maybe do better, or just have a new perspective on things, more creativity, more confidence, all this nice stuff. I will concentrate on the questions that you have. That is why we created groups, and why I want you to have a group while we're following this workshop, so I can have your feedback, so then I can address your specific question, modify the videos if I need to, modify the information we're giving to you, ask my colleagues to give some more professional advice on the specific areas of need. So today I will start with how to eliminate stress and empower courage with aromatherapy, and also have a little bit more specific moods you want to work on. But before we start, I just want you to let you know, you should go and, if you haven't already, sign up in Dropsmith and get your free access right now, today, because the countdown for the days you have full free access to is starting right now. So it's available to you during the course, and I want you to get the maximum benefit out of it. So after you look at the video, you can download the PDF we have prepared for you on how to get the full free access, and do that right away, so that you can get the maximum amount of days and start using this for your needs today. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to say before we start. The second is make sure to download all the PDFs that we are going to put up for you. I'm going to put them up on different days as we prepare them and modify them for your specific needs. I will also have colleagues contribute with some questions you had about different infections and blending techniques, and just all sorts of wonderful stuff. So let's get started. Let's look at how to eliminate stress and empower courage with aromatherapy. So this was one of your questions, and let's see how I would go about this. The first and the easiest thing to do is for me to type in stress in Dropsmith. So if you go to catalog and you go into search box, you can type in stress, or anything else you may need. So you might want to be more specific. You might want to write anxiety, fear, panic, just maybe for elevating your mood. You can go and try to be as specific as possible, and I'll show you why. So see, when I typed in stress in our database today, when I'm making this video, we have 362 oils that are associated with stress. So that's many things to choose from. You will get more specific information in the oil. So for example, let's click one that you probably have. Everybody has lavender in their cupboard. So let's click lavender and see if that we can actually get more information on lavender than we know, and we probably all know a lot. So when you click on the oil you want to look at, you will get the properties, here, right on the left, that are the properties that are scientifically proven. And lavender has been very well researched, so as you see, we have lots and lots of information. And if you click on it, you will have references. So for example, lavender has been tested as a sedative. We have quite a few references, and I really do encourage you to read more. Here you click and you go to the abstract and read a little bit more about how this particular research was done. Is it applicable to your case or not? This is what you want to know. Okay, so just because something is sedative does not mean it will work right away or it will work on you. What is the dose you need to use? How do you need to apply it? And that information you may get a little bit more detail in the reference itself. Okay, so also we see this is anxiolytic. So there was another question that you wanted to know about how to apply essential oils for anxiety. Lavender would be, as we all know, a good choice. But if we found a little bit more information that we can give to you, you can see, for example, that this research was done just before patients were undergoing, and this is going to be hard for me to pronounce, gastroscopy. So this is quite an uncomfortable thing, and they had really good results. See, this one was done on different stuff, on dental patients. So this may or may not be useful for you. And because research, unfortunately, in other essential oils is quite limited, as in they didn't do it enough research on the specific oil you may be using, I also include application section, and this is where I included not only research but books from my colleagues from different areas of aromatherapy, clinical wellness, some very specific things. Also, I included, we quoted information from aromatherapy journals, which is, in my opinion, priceless, really, because we are quoting people's work. We could extract how some professionals use a specific essential oil for a very, very specific case study, and that is included here as well. So as you see, I have here show all because lavender has many applications, and we were looking for stress. So let's see, here we have at the top you have the effect on the body, and below that you will find the effect on the mind and the emotions. So just so you know, see, we come up to the last letters, and then we start with A again: aggression, calmness. This is something that's welcome at this time, and this is from a wonderful international journal of clinical aromatherapy, and see, it was done, it's recommended to calm a child. We are looking for stress, just so that I don't get sidetracked. Stress. So see, there's lots of authors and research that is actually recommending lavender to relieve stress, harmonize and balance the mind, excessive stress. So this is all very useful at this time. And later on in the next lessons, and also I will be sending you another PDF more precise on how to apply this in practice. So today I will introduce you how to find the information you need right now, and perhaps how to what to look for, and then as we go on with the lessons I will get more and more practical, and then of course you will also receive some recipes on certain things and issues that you hopefully will be commenting below these videos, and then we can address them to you. So you see, this is really nice because lots of authors are using it for the same thing, and of course I encourage you to click on read more again, and that will then take you to their site where you can buy the book or see who the author is and see if that author is someone who resonates with you. Another question I have here, your questions by the way, so I might be looking at my paper, with the emotional and psychological states was sleep, something you wanted to know about. So again, lavender has a lot of information on sleep, how to use it, that it has been having positive effects. And again, if you click on the reference, you will see a little bit more information on how, for example, this is for sleep disorders. Then here it was mentioned again in the Journal of Clinical Aromatherapy that improved subjective quality of sleep, so the quality of sleep was better. And then here, Madeline, another book I really recommend, is How Sleep. She uses lavender oil in cases of sleeplessness and pain. So if you have pain and that's one of the reasons why you're not sleeping, lavender is again a great choice. Restless sleep. So just to give you that extra information on how to use this oil. Tension was another question of yours. Fear, mood, and when we wrote mood, it is to categorize it easier, so you find information more quickly. But sometimes, as I said, then what mood, improve mood in dental offices and this research, for example. Soothing your mood. Madeleine was very specific on how foot baths she uses to see for people that are fatigued, unsettled, worried. So this is again something you might want to try to calm you down. Make a nice foot bath. Make sure always to dilute oil into emulsifier before you put it in water. Please remember that. And then maybe make a nice soothing foot bath to relax you, help you sleep, or release that worry and tension. Okay, so this upper area here, the green area, will tell you about the scientific properties, how to apply the essential oils, and of course safety. So please do click on the safety, and you will see that a lot of contraindications and safety recommendations are in direct connection to chemical components, and that I will again talk about in the next video as well, to give you that, just to make you feel more safe and confident into why you chose certain oils and how to apply them safely. So this is the area you will start with to see. For example, I would recommend that you look at the oils you have right now at home and check them out in Dropsmith. What are all the properties and applications, and of course safety measures for the oils you already have? You might be surprised of the benefits that they will provide to you. The power drops they have in the little bottle. At the bottom here, for every oil, we have a detailed report, and that is the chemical components. But I will not go into that right now. I will try and keep on track. So for the first part, I wanted to show you how to find oils to eliminate stress and empower courage. So if we go back to catalog and write courage, see, we also have many oils that are associated with courage. And in the same way, you will then click on the oil and see how is that applied. Does it have more information? Is this oil for you? Because it might be an oil, for example, that does affect courage, but lavender, for example, will also help you sleep. So if this is a problem that, for example, you need something to support you to feel more safe, you're lacking courage, and that's why you're having trouble sleeping, then lavender might be an oil that you will use to help you also soothe you and relax you and get you more sleepy. Whereas in rosemary, for example, it might empower your courage, but it also will help you wake up, be more focused. So this is something you would use during the day. And that's why I really wanted to get all the information on one place. You know, you just click on the oil and you have all the information on one place so that you don't forget these little details, you know. As you saw, and here also with courage, we have over 250 essential oils that are for courage or for stress, for example. But which type of stress, you know? Stresses come from different places. I might be stressed and not sleep, as I said. I might be stressed and have an effect on my appetite. I might have headaches from the stress. Am I less concentrated? Also with courage or anxiety, it is very specific for each person, and we want you to get the most out of these essential oils, out of these power drops that you're using, and that's why you need to know as much information as possible to make an adequate and safe choice for you. At least that's how I feel, and that's what I want to give to you. Okay. So also there was a question of which oils I recommend for certain issues on the body, mind, and soul level, and I'm very happy you asked that. And as I said before, so let's click on one oil. Okay, I said rosemary for courage, so let's look at rosemary. And the reason I clicked rosemary is this is probably another oil that most of us have at home, and today I want to focus on the oils that you already have and how to use them efficiently now without having to spend the money on the new ones. You know, this is also something that I'm very keen about, the ecological part of it, you know, the sustainability. Let's use what we have the best we can. And how can we do that? The more information we have, more we know about the essential oils that we are using, better we can use them. You know, you can use the amount that you actually need, not more or less. Sometimes it's not efficient because you put too much, and sometimes it's not efficient because you put too little. It is it's an art form. It's the beauty of aromatherapy. So with rosemary, what I wanted to show you here is the body, mind, spirit connection. So what I will point out once again is application part. This is where you want to look at. It will tell you on all three levels if we found that information, mind you, because some essential oils are not as well researched or are not as well written about as rosemary and lavender. So with rosemary, first, and with every essential oils you will look in Dropsmith database, first we have how it works on the body. So again, you will see that the air purification is another question we have, and we will address it in the next video. In the next lesson, I will talk about air purification and antiviral properties. So air purification, airway infections, you know, this is all the questions I've been getting from you. Respiratory conditions, see bronchitis, for example. This is what we will be talking about in the next lessons as well. So at the beginning, interestingly, we will not be talking about how to use essential oils on hair. This is one of the questions, but here you go. Rosemary is also recommended for oily scalp, for example. Then after how it works on body, we have the mind and emotions, and at the very end you will have the spirit. And quite often in this area we have information from Madeleine's beautiful books that she writes for actually for nurses in palliative care, but her books are applicable to anyone really, because it goes in such detail, especially on the emotional and spiritual level, that I think it's very well worth everybody to read about it. So for example, for atmosphere, here she's telling us that we can use rosemary for uplifting and tonic ambience. Oh, this is this is Rhiannon writing, and then Madeleine is going really specific. See here we have a really pretty beautiful information that she uses rosemary when there is chaos and destitution. So she is creating with this in the atmosphere that you have a rock to lean against, and to protect yourself from people who suck up your energy, which is a completely different perspective on rosemary than what we have here in the clinical and scientific research. For example, we get very specific details on, for example, antibacterial properties and which bacteria it works on. So this is what one of my main challenges was when I was learning aromatherapy and when I was teaching my students how to give you the most wide perspective on an essential oils you are using and on your blends, not excluding anything but actually including all aspects for it, but giving it to you in such a simple way that you will just then focus on what you need right now, or what you find that resonates with you and it's more on your level of thinking, really. So you can go really scientific, or you can go deeper, as in emotionally and energetically, but keeping it all with references. References is something that's very important, and I hope it's important to you as well, so you know where your information comes from, so you know how to apply this essential oil to work for you, your clients, your loved ones, your child. As a mother, for me, this is very important that I know that the oils I use on my daughter are safe, and I know how this will affect her. Okay, so as I said, we will get more practical in the next videos. This is to introduce you to how to actually start exploring your questions in Rosemary, in Dropsmith, and then please do comment below so I know where to go further, whether it is with questions about Dropsmith or questions about specific application of these essential oils and these issues you're facing. So as you see, it's very simple to search for whatever you need. You just write in the search box whatever it is that is bothering you, and it will then pop up the essential oils that are associated with that specific word in English for now. So this is why Dropsmith works so well, to save you time, time finding oils that you actually need, save you time finding research that you actually need. It will save you money going through research, because research is expensive as well, and I hope it will save you money also, that you will actually use the oils that you have already and use them efficiently. The next thing is how I want to show you how you can be more efficient and how you can be more self-sufficient without me leading you or answering every single question, that you can actually know how to get more information out of essential oils yourself, and Dropsmith is here to help you with that as well. So next question I would like to answer from our land page is how to say goodbye to endless research and find antiviral oils, and answers you read right now. So I will not just be focused on antiviral oils. This can be for any other property you might need, but here I prepared for you, let's say antiviral, because this is very popular right now, and this has been a question that has been asked often. So let's write antiviral. So we have 103 oils today that have been associated with antiviral properties, and I like to look at my oils as many as possible, so I will look at them 64 items. See, quite a lot of oils we have here to work with. So the first thing you might notice here with Eucalyptus radiata is that that it actually under scientific properties we do not have it. We have antibacterial, and you can see really nicely on which bacteria it has been tested on. Same with antifungal. For repellent, this is also something that's very useful. You know which mosquito it was actually tested on, but no antiviral. And why is that? It is probably because it is for sure because we haven't found information or research in English that we can quote that it is actually been tested on antiviral activities. But what we did find was under respiratory conditions, you will see that it has been actually recommended because of its antiviral activity. So this is what I wanted to address with antiviral activity and any other activity that's antimicrobial or whatever. When we look at essential oils, first of all, we might not have research done on the essential oil itself. It may be on the chemical component, and I will show you that in just a few moments. So what sometimes happens, not sometimes but very often, is when you read it in a book or you have a lecturer telling you about properties of these essential oils, is what he's actually telling you is properties of the dominant chemical component in that oil, which is not the same thing. Okay. So we have research that has been done on the essential oil itself as a whole, as a synergy of a cocktail of these chemical components, and then we have research on specific chemical components. And what I am guessing, because I've seen this a lot with many eucalyptus essential oils and their strong activities, is that it's because of a very large amount of 1,8-cineol that is in, for example, Eucalyptus radiata or Eucalyptus globulus and some other species. See here we have almost 70% of 1,8-cineol, which has been tested for many properties, and one of them is antiviral, if I'm not mistaken. Here we have here we go. It has been tested on several viruses. And that's the second point I want to make. When an essential oil or a chemical component is said to be antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, whatever, repellent, it does not mean that it will repel all insects. It does not mean that it is effective on all viruses. And that is something to consider when blending. On the other hand, because we're limited with this information, it may be very helpful to know that this specific essential oil, in this case Eucalyptus radiata, is, among other things, effective on certain viruses. So you may try, it will not hurt you to use it in the time of need to disinfect air or hands or whatever, but it is not something that you can rely on 100%. Okay, just be aware of that. That when somebody says this is antiviral, it's not specific enough to the virus that you want to address, unless it has been tested on that very specific virus. For example, here we have more information on which virus it was tested on. And then you go a step further and you see if it's an in vivo test or in vitro. Unfortunately, most tests on antimicrobial effect of essential oils have been tested in laboratories, which may not then be the same effect we are expecting to have on us as humans, of course. So these are just some little pointers that I would love for you to be aware of when choosing an essential oil, not to make you discouraged, but quite the opposite, to empower you, to give you that power of, wider thinking, more information to consider, to make a really effective choice for you and your family or clients. Okay, so as I said, here we did not find research that supports that Eucalyptus radiata as a whole has an antiviral effect. And if somebody out there has that research, please give it to us, send it to our support mail so we can include it, because research is, growing every day, and we are doing our best to be up to date. But as I said, people and therapists have been applying this for many years, for certain indications, and that is also valuable information to know that a therapist, a doctor, a pharmacist has been using this essential oil for helping, for example, respiratory viral infections effectively. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say for two things that I announced on my landing page, and that is one: have you been choosing your essential oils, the right way? Have you been considering all their possibilities and power? And definitely what not to do, and that is make an assumption that just because an essential oil is antiviral, it will work on this specific virus. Okay, so just keep you safe and open-minded in that way. So here I have already been clicking on 1,8-cineol. It's a very, very common chemical component in almost every essential oil at a certain percentage. Of course, you will find it in less than 1%, and then in oils such as Eucalyptus radiata or globulus, even 70% or more. And why is that good to know? That's good to know for several reasons. It will, of course, affect the final properties of the essential oil as a whole, and it will affect the safety. So see here, because most of the safety recommendations are connected to some components that may be questionable and have certain effects on you physically. So here it is not recommended to use essential oils that has a lot of 1,8-cineol for children, because it may actually cause a central nervous system and breathing problems in young children. For more information on that, do read the book itself. I really recommend it to get more information why and how to use the specific essential oil. But coming back to properties, one thing that I'm very excited about is that you can then see some of the chemical components that are in this specific essential oils. You can see the properties of the chemical component, and then here on the right side it adds up. For example, we're interested in antiviral. See, we have over 80% of chemical components in this essential oil that have been proven to be antiviral. That is quite a high percentage, okay? And not so here with the properties of the essential oil itself, we do not have antiviral research, but we do have on all of these chemical components that make the essential oil. So this will give you the power I'm talking about, to go not the extra mile, but the extra of couple of miles to know this information. And this for me was impossible to calculate in my head. I know these components, I know some of their properties, but to sum it up in my head, I'm just not that smart, I guess. And I do not have the time. I have other things on my mind. I really need that information right now to apply it on my child, for example, or my client. So another thing to point out is that we have almost 14,000 references on chemical components, on essential oils and how to apply them. Okay, so this is massive information we are giving to you just at you know, at your fingertips. All you have to do is click, and we are building more and more our database to suit not only your needs, my needs, to be up to date. It is a growing industry, and we need to support it. Okay, so lastly, what I do want to talk about is now, for example, that how to apply this. Now that you know 1,8-cineol is useful for viral infection, you might want to find out what other essential oils have 1,8-cineol. So all I do is I can copy this, or you can type it in yourself, and then go back to the catalog. I will use the filter itself. So here you can filter by different things that is fun to test, and plant part, for example, but you can do that on your own. Here is the magic. So you go and you type in 1,8-cineol. I will just paste it now, and I will choose 1,8-cineol because I need it for a certain issue, in this case antiviral effect. So I will look firstly, if I leave from 0 to 100, it will show you all the essential oils that have any amount of 1,8-cineol. So let's just first take a look at them. So as you see, we have many oils. We have over 350 essential oils that have any percentage of 1,8-cineol. So let's look at them. And this is the power I'm talking about, you know, power of choice. I have much more choice right now than I did before, now that I'm actually searching by the chemical components. Okay, but if it has little of this this chemical component, it might not be useful for me. So I will boost it up to, let's say 50%. So any oil that has over 50% of 1,8-cineol, let's see how many we have. So now we have 33, and as I said, it's mostly the eucalyptuses, some very interesting sages that I personally never heard of. Maybe you did, Ravinsara, that we will talk about one of the upcoming courses as well, lessons. Okay, so these oils, as you see, and you can see already by the yellow, they have a large dominating percentage of 1,8-cineol and may be useful for this particular need. But let's bring it down to 30%, which is still quite significant. Okay, and with 30% we have even more oils, you know, at our disposal. So one of the antiviral chemical components is 1,8-cineol, so let's bring it down to at least 20%, or yeah, let's bring it to 20. And then I know that another one we have is alpha-pinene is also antiviral. So alpha-pinene, and let's see oils that have over 10% of alpha-pinene and 20% of 1,8-cineol. So now we're working on a synergy, and this is something I would like to go deeper in with the next lessons. Okay, so instead of just choosing oils randomly that you read somewhere that it works on a certain thing, you can go deeper and you can look for oils that have chemical components that will endorse whatever you need to address right now. Okay. And it will give you some very interesting new options that you might have not thought about, like myrtle. I really like to use myrtle. It is local for me here, and it is far safer to use on my daughter than eucalyptus globulus, for example. So if we just now stick to alpha-pinene, for example, because I know that's, see, that it has a lot of oils also have alpha-pinene, and boost it up to over 50%. Voila, now we have a whole new playground. And as you see, this is like a video game for me, you know. Some people like to play games. I like to play in Dropsmith and look for oils, look for clues, look for things between oils that are making some connections, you know, learning new things about them. So this is what I want to share with you. A new and modern look at essential oils, because it's available now, because we have all these tools, all this technology that can provide that for us. So this is what I wanted to give to you as well, to try and test it and see how it can make your life easier, and you know, how it can bring you new value to your blends, to your work, to your you know, whatever it is that you're doing with essential oils. So I will here call you to give me some comments, please, on what we did today. Was it useful? Were there any questions? Something unclear? Which area do you want to go more specific in? As I said, we will get more practical as we go along. This is just an introduction to get you started, to get you thinking this way. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time I will talk about air purification and you know, some powerful ways of blending. We will go into blending next time. I want to show you some other tips and trips. I'm sorry, some tricks and tips I have learned over the years, some things I've noticed that might be useful for you, and of course I will also give you some PDFs to follow up your questions that you may have. So thank you for today. One last thing, so you can get started, maybe play today, is just a touch on the immune system, because this is a very big question I've been getting. So to get you started on your own aromatic journey with us and Dropsmith, you can type in immune system. And you will have some oils pop up for you, okay? So one thing I wanted to show you and actually kind of warn you about is, if we go to tea tree, for example, you might see things like this, and that is that it has been tested on it is immunomodulatory. It has been tested on as an immunostimulus and as an immunosuppressive. So you might think, what is going on here? Okay, this oil will help me boost my immunity, or it will, you know, suppress it. Immunomodulatory means that it will balance it, and which one is true? And the answer is that it has been tested on all three. I'm sorry, and it's just the way it is, and it showed up to be efficient in all of these areas. And we had some really tough calls to make here at Dropsmith with my research, wonderful research ladies. Should we then include this information or not? And we decided to give it all to you, you know. And you can go to and read the research yourself, you know. That's why you always have the read more button, and it will take you to it. But my personal opinion on this is, if the tea tree is immunomodulatory, it will of course affect your immune system, whether you need it to be stimulated or suppressed. So that's why I'm guessing, and this is my personal opinion, it was actually affecting on all three of these areas, because that's what it does. Okay, and then how to use that on the immune system? You go here in application, and for example, Sribor Markovic, who is a wonderful pharmacist in Croatia, he's a doctor of pharmacy actually, and has been using essential oils in his clinical practice. He recommends it for immune system depression, and he actually used dermal application. So this is something you may use at this time, and I hope that it's helpful, because immune system is something I have been getting quite a lot of questions on. So as you see, I can go on forever, but I'm sure you all have other things to do as well, and you are eager to start playing with Dropsmith and get the full free access. You have enough time for everything, but I do suggest you get your free access right now and start exploring, start applying this to whatever it is that you need. I'd like to thank you for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'm very excited for this journey. It will get more and more intense also, I guess, as we're coming to the inevitable end of it. So take care. Wishing you all a beautiful day ahead, and watch out for the next mail. Bye everyone.